The people in your business are everything. It almost doesn't matter what field you work in. It's people who make the product, and it's people who talk to customers. One of the most important, if not the most important thing I think you can do as a CEO is to pick great people, to motivate them, to get them excited to come to work every day, and to make sure that they're doing the absolute best possible job in the most productive way possible. As you grow your business, and as you place importance on bringing the right people into it, you're going to find, I guarantee, a lot of challenges around the recruiting process. The three biggest things that prove to be challenging for entrepreneurial organizations: one, defining the job properly. Periodically, you're not just going to be filling an existing job, but creating a new one. And taking time out to really stop and think about what you're going to be paying someone to do, what you need done. Is it a full-time job? And is it the kind of job that's easy to hire for? That job definition piece becomes very, very important. The second thing that a lot of startups fail to do is put the time into the recruiting process that they need to get a good outcome from it. And you should think of it almost as seriously as as getting married or as adopting someone. You're going to be spending a lot of time with this person. They're going to be a big part of your workforce. The final challenge that I think a lot of startups have is they think that the recruiting process ends when they hire someone. And our philosophy at Return Path has always been that the recruiting process doesn't end until 90 days after the employee has started. And that last leg, the onboarding piece, becomes particularly important to make sure that the new hire sticks and that they get integrated into the organization, they're up and running, they're productive, and they know what their job is. What makes a great team at one stage of the company's business does not make necessarily for a great team at later stages of business. One of my board members has the biology metaphor about this, where he says, early on in an organism's life, it's a single cell, and that cell does everything, and then the cell replicates into a bunch of cells, all of which do everything. Eventually, you develop into a higher order organism that has specialized organs, et cetera, et cetera. Early on in a company's life, you want a bunch of people who are jack of all trades, who can be good at lots of things and who aren't afraid to jump in and take on things that they don't understand. You want people who are in sync with you and the way you think about building the business, the way you want to run the company, who are good at follow-through, who are good at getting things done, who don't get caught up in perfection when what you really need is speed and directional accuracy. As the company scales, you start to need people who specialize in particular areas. And I think one of the traps that a lot of entrepreneurs fall into is believing that every employee can scale with the business and every employee can grow into a more specialized role over time. When in fact, some people aren't good at that and don't like that, and some people actually thrive better in smaller environments, just as some people are specialists and are probably more cut out for larger environments. I've had some members of my team who've scaled really well and who have grown consistently with the role, stayed one step ahead of it. I've had others who over time have decided or discovered that it's not for them. I'll never forget, there was one day when we were somewhere around 25 employees, and one of our engineers, our software developers, came in to see me, and he said he was resigning because we had gotten too big and too corporate at all of 25 people. I asked him what he meant by that, and he said, I just realized that it used to be in the early days that we all made every decision together, and now I see meetings happening that I'm not part of, and it just doesn't make me feel like I'm part of the team anymore. Now, the reality is that we never made all decisions together as an entire company, but that was his reality, and his perception is what mattered to him. That's okay. That's his prerogative. Good for him for recognizing that and recognizing that what he really wants to do is be part of a really small team.